I got some of my friends to make a video about them giving you guys in sixth form one tip, one tip that they think is important and for you to know to help you become successful in your sixth form journey. Now, obviously, me and my friends, we have all finished sixth form and we've learned a lot. So we wanted to share this with you, and I created this compilation for you to pick out the tips that you think are important and will help you get those results. Make sure you join my Discord server. Make sure you like and subscribe. If you want your personal statement reviewed, obviously I got into the top unis. Then check out the Google Forms link in the description, and all the details are there, pricing, everything. And let's get straight into it, and let's kick it off with my first tip. And my tip is that you need to find a reason. Find a reason for you to complete your sixth form journey, for you to achieve the results that you want. And my reason for me was to do it for my parents because I wanted to see them proud. If you are able to find a good reason, it will help you push through the tough terms, the tough periods that you'll face in your sixth form journey, and help you become successful. And let's move on straight to the next tip with my boy Kareem. Big up Kareem, man.
Don't forget to organize work experience, competitions, and extracurriculars as soon as you can to try and get ahead of the game. And don't forget to like and subscribe.
Yo, my name's Anish. So, one tip of advice I'd give you if you're going to sixth form now or you're in sixth form already is probably to not close yourself off and be ready to talk to people, because I feel like in the future being able to socialize is a very important skill. Certainly got me a lot of opportunities. Stop the above trait, man. We're not pushing above agenda 2025, 2026 for all years.
I ain't forcing above trait, nigga, I'm naturally like this.
Be yourself. Talk to people. Thank you.
My name is Abel. I do A-level maths, economics and philosophy, and my best piece of advice would be to start doing past papers early. Too many people get stuck in a trap of making flashcards, making notes, when in my opinion, if you know 60 to 70% of the content, you should just go jump into past papers, because at the end of the day, your test is going to be a past paper. On top of that, if anybody does AQA philosophy, I highly recommend just making model essay plans for every single 25 marker they can ask, because then that will pretty much cover all of your 5, your 12 and your 25 markers. But good luck guys with your A-levels.
Hi, I'm Nevin, and my one tip for those of you currently in sixth form would be don't leave things to the last minute. I made that mistake for my A-levels and it would have been so much less stressful if I had done the work beforehand. I managed to get through it all right, but it would have been that much easier if I'd been putting in the work since year 12 to get all the content down and been doing past papers more frequently to get my exam technique bang on.
Hello, my name's Emil Ahmedin, and my advice for those going into year 12 or going into year 13 is to get involved in class a lot. You know, when teacher asks questions, make sure you put your hand up, try to get it right. If not, it's fine, just learn from your mistakes, and yeah.
Oh my god, bro. Oh, hell no, man. What the fuck, man?
It's over.
In a bit.
Hi, my name is Toby, and I did physics, maths, computer science, economics, and an EPQ at A-levels. And my advice for you that are doing your A-levels would be to try and attend as many university outreach programs as possible. They're good because you can see, you put them in your personal statement and show that if you've tried to do work outside of school, especially work that is it's quite similar to the work you would do at university. So you're showing the university admissions team, people that are viewing your personal statement, that you're actually getting ready to make that jump from year 13 and from A-levels to university. There are also possibilities, of course, of going to the university, going for residential trips and meeting new people, making new friends, talking to professionals and professors at the uni, so you can learn more about the uni experience and applying to uni. You get personal help on like your personal statement from actual admissions tutors. And for me, what I found the most important when I was doing it was being able to get guaranteed offers. So even before I applied through UCAS, I knew that I would already get a guaranteed offer to a university as long as my predicted grades were high enough, which really helped like ease my nerves when going into it, because writing a personal statement, you'll get the nerves of, oh, is my personal statement good enough, or have I included enough super curriculars, or are my predicted grades high enough? But it kind of calms you down to know that no matter what, you're going to get an offer from this one university. So my advice would be to look at the universities you're looking to apply to, and as early as possible try and see if they have these outreach programs and apply to as many as possible, even if you're not necessarily really wanting to go to the university. You could always include it on your personal statement anyways, so it would be really, really important to try and get into as many as possible. Thank you.
My best piece of advice for someone going into year 12 or year 13 is to make sure that you enjoy it. It's 2 years and you think that's a long time, but it'll be over quite quickly. So make sure you make a lot of memories with your friends. Friends can be a really good coping mechanism and a way to escape from the hard pressures of your studies in year 13 especially. So make sure you spend a lot of time with your friends and make sure you enjoy school even if you don't think you will. Because it'll be over before you know it, so yeah.
Hi, my name is Nafemi, and if I could give one piece of advice for people who are currently in sixth form, is to look at your past papers and to see what topics your exam board and your subject don't often test you on. Obviously, when you're using past papers, you can use them to practice exam technique and on questions and topics in your subject. But if you can compare the past paper questions and the spec and see what questions and topics they don't often come up and test previous candidates on, then you can use your teachers or your friends, other classmates to try and do questions in class and try and create various questions to look at these lesser topics. And if you do that, then you're covering all the bases in your spec and your subject. And if you're lucky, they could come up in the real thing.
My name's Sean, and my one tip for those of you currently studying in sixth form is to make sure that your notes are very organized from day one, because otherwise when you get to exam period, the last thing you want is to realize that your notes are not worthy to revise from and you've got to find other sources and stuff.
My name is Zain Krimatali, and my one tip for sixth form would definitely be focus on those entrance exams. They mean a lot to university admissions, more than you think. So definitely focus on them. One other thing I want to say is that keep being resilient. Look, sometimes your teachers might doubt you, sometimes your friends, sometimes even yourself. But keep that resilience up and you'll find yourself where you want to be.
Yo, it's Ebby, and one piece of advice I have for people who are in sixth form is to not rely on motivation, but to rely on discipline. Because naturally there are going to be some days where like you don't want to revise and you don't want to do work. But it's those days that you're going to see the most progress. So yeah, be consistent, everything you do. But most importantly, sub up to my boy, get him to 5k likes or whatever. But yeah, sub up to him and yeah, show him the love that he deserves, man. But yeah, peace, guys.
Ooh, say it again.
You're going to earn an extraordinary amount of...
One more time.
An extraordinary amount of money.
My name is Kirishan, and my one tip for anyone who is in sixth form is to make the most of the support from those around you.
Hey guys, my name is Tanuj, and like Aksha, I've just finished sixth form. I'm predicted for A stars in my A-levels, and my biggest advice for people just starting lower sixth or going into upper sixth is to use your summers properly. Year 12 and year 13 will probably be your hardest school years. And with one more month of summer to go, it's important that you use your summer properly so that you're best prepared for year 12 and year 13. You can save yourself a lot of stress, get ahead, and achieve more. It should be a time where you're either preparing for A-levels or getting ahead with your admission tests. Because trust me, there's not a lot of time for you to be balancing schoolwork as well as university preparation. So if you do things like writing your first statement in the summer, you're going to save yourself a lot of stress during year 13. I know summer's a time for you to relax, recharge, and go back to the school year with a lot of energy, but all the work you put in now will definitely be worth it. Because all the work you put in now is going to be of some value when you apply to university.
Hi, my name's Josh, and tips I'd have for you current year 12s and 13s. Hi, my name's Josh, and tips I'd have for Hi, my name's Josh, and tips I'd have for you current year 12s and 13s is probably just start early. It does sound like a stretch, but I promise it's going to save so much time in the long run, and the best advice I could give you.
Whilst I'm sure everyone has been able to stay consistent from the start, don't wait until exams are near before you start taking things seriously. Yes, those are important, but I'm here to give you the real pieces of advice and give you a reality check. The first piece of advice to succeed in A-levels: do not play games in your freeze.
Wait, how am I dead?
I played Troop Game. Do not play Paranoia, Blackjack, Uno, any card games, Spoons, was it Forks, one of those, yeah? Do not play them in your freeze. Put the phone down and open your books. Yeah, you can do it in groups, but revise, please, revise. I mean, if you're in year 12, first week, play the games. You're learning GCSE still. But once you reach year 13, big man, read your books. Read your books. Advice number 2. Don't be afraid to beg for grades, for your grades to go up, your predicted grades. Don't be afraid to beg. Even if you get on your knees and cry. But don't cry if you got you. I'm sorry. It's you. There's nothing you can do about that. Number 3. I know some sixth forms and colleges, they don't like to talk about degree apprenticeships like that. But take time to research them. It's your life, it's your future. If uni's not for you, it's not for you. There's always degree apprenticeships out there. There's so many. Yeah.
Yo, my name is Harshan, and my top tip for sixth form students would be to stay on top of things.
What do you mean by that?
Do not get caught behind. Don't be the guy that's catching up 2 months before exams. But yeah, that's all I'd have to say.
My name is Tommy, and my one piece of advice for those of you who are currently in sixth form is that you don't have as much time as you think. Time really flies, as much as people like to repeat this. And you don't want to be the person who you feel like you haven't revised enough when the time for A-levels arrives. So please, start early. Make sure you're not the person that starts late. Thank you.
Hi, my name is Nick. I did physics, maths, further maths, music and EPQ for A-level, and I'm going to start my law degree this autumn. My tip is, when you're doing supercurricular exploration and things like that in year 12, don't be afraid to change your mind about what you want to do, and instead of using supercurriculars as like a tick box, genuinely use them to see if you're interested in the degree you want to study.
My name is Alex, and my one tip for sixth form would be probably just to schedule your time, whether that be your sports or your studies, just so that you know what you're doing when you're doing them.
Hi, my name is Patrick, and my one tip is to actually use your freeze wisely. And I know you probably heard that a lot, but it actually does really help to have like a foundation when you come to revise for the actual exam.